Good afternoon. Let's rewind back to when I first came up to stage. What was going through your mind? We make assumptions based on our experience and interaction with people or things. That's how we learn. But let me say again, what did you thought about me? Where did your mind go when you first saw me? Perhaps you didn't think of anything, or you drew your conclusions for the whole speech before I actually opened my mouth. Whether it is true or not, whether you agree or disagree, it's likely you would have had an image of me before I actually started speaking. Some of you may assumed I was Thai or didn't even realize I was Korean. You might thought I was too young, maybe not, or too old for a student. Stereotypes exist for a reason, but do we have enough information to create stereotype? Today, I'll talk about my personal experience stereotyping. More specifically, in Asia, between Asians. I'm South Korean, born in Thailand, but my parents are Korean. I'll repeat that again. I'm South Korean, born in Thailand, but my parents are Korean. Isn't it complicated? And you know what? I'm also confused about myself. I can read, write, and speak Thai, and most importantly, I feel welcomed into their culture. But there's sometimes when I feel like I'm not kind of included, in a way, I'll say. When I was young, I used to believe that this was normal because I wasn't one of them. And once I go back to Korea, this will be filled. But as I grew up, I realized this wasn't the case. When I talk about South Korea, many people think highly of us. They say, "Oh, I like the Korean beauty products, I like the K-pop there, the little dances they do." But not many people, not even 1% of them, know the truth people categorized like me need to face in the Korean society. These are the overseas Koreans. As one of these people, I'll tell you today that living in Korea might not be pleasant, beautiful, or fantasy-like, as many of you may have believed. There was this one time when I went back to Korea and went to a salon. I talked with the hairdresser. She asked me where I was studying, and I replied, I was studying abroad. She started speaking to me in English. And when I said, "It's all right, I can understand Korean," she stared at me and started to speak to me really, really slowly, to the point where I thought I was talking to a turtle. So for example, in Korea, we say 안녕하세요, meaning hi. Instead, she said 안녕하세요. Let's be honest, I don't have blue eyes, I don't have blonde hair. I look Asian. I'll give you a little different example. Today, some of our teachers, students, are from the UK. Let's assume someone walks up to you and says, "Bonjour," or assumes you're from Germany. How would you feel? Let's say you're from America. Someone comes to you and assumes you're from Canada, or says, "You have an Aussie accent, sir, ma'am." How would you feel? Although the examples I provided might sound simple, when it happens repeatedly, it isn't the best experience to have. I started to assign myself into the stereotypical version they thought I was. I started to act like one. I did this without even realizing it until it made me felt lost and confused. I wondered whether if I needed to act a bit more Korean. But when I look back on this, because of these experiences, I became who I am today. I got a chance to meet people who were really willing to help me and accepted me as who I was. It's important to recognize the role stereotypes play in our life and work to break them down. We must challenge our own assumptions and biases and be willing to learn from others who have different perspectives and ideas or maybe experiences. So let us embrace the power of atomic change, both in terms of energy and in terms of our attitudes towards one another. Let us work to build a world that doesn't have a harmful stereotype, and work to build a world built on understanding, compassion, and respect. Thank you very much.